are these guys? Got caught in about 2 minutes.
Where you off to, mate?
Thought, mate, just really running late for this case.
Where the hell have you lot been? Do you know how late we are?
I think the bender, mate.
Mate, we've got 2 minutes until court starts. Listen, we got cases building up, we've got work to do. Let's go, let's go.
Hi and welcome along to the weekend roundup. We are coming to you a day early because of tomorrow, of course, is Christmas Day. So we're here for you on Christmas Eve to round up the games because we've had all of them apart from one. Chelsea game coming up at 1 o'clock, and that's why we don't have Matisse today. But we've got Abby in the building. We've got Nicky, West Ham Fan TV, and I'm sure he's in a good mood. It's going to be a great Christmas. And my brother Laurie joining me here for the festive activities, discussing the games that took place. As I said, no Matisse today. However,
no Flex either.
Where is Flex?
No Flex.
Do you know what? I've got a Christmas song later for Flex. I'm going to sing him a Christmas song. I got one for you, Flex. You're going to enjoy this one.
Turns out, does he?
No, never. I see him. When we done that the last time they got beat, he turned up to the seat and I said, "Who's that in my seat? I've never seen this guy. Never see him."
Do you know what? Right, he's been taking such a battering in recent times, man.
I've got some for him.
All right, we're going to get to that, but of course, the video today brought to you today by our partners, Fair Play, right? So big up to Fair Play. Fair Play is this brilliant app where you can bet amongst your friends, right? And as we all know, a lot of times we have bets with mates and stuff like that. They shake on it, no one ever pays up, right? With this app, it ensures that you pay up. So if you all bet, say, a tenner each on a golf match, or you can bet on anything, a football game, just anything at all. Is it going to snow at Christmas? You bet, you deposit your money into the Fair Play app, so you bet a tenner, each person deposits their tenner, and then the person who wins gets the money. 100% of the money as well. Is no commission. It's free to download, doesn't cost you anything. And if you want to download it, click the link in the description right now. It's absolutely brilliant. And it just clears up all the, running into your mate and say, "Yeah, Abby, don't you owe me 20 quid from when Arsenal beat Tottenham?"
Alex about that. I actually borrowed a tenner.
You're right.
And so do I, to be fair.
See, so if he's doing it in a Fair Play app, right, that would be resolved, right? So you can download the app right now. They've got a very special offer this week. When you sign up using the promo code OVER, you can get a chance to get a free £5 bet. And they're going with the over because they're saying that if there's over 10 goals in the first half of the games, in the week's games coming up, you will get a free £5 bet. By the way, anybody who used last week's sign-in code, which was Anfield, and that was if Arsenal and Liverpool both score in the game, you get a £10 free bet. Check your account because you've got a £10 free bet because both teams scored. It's as easy as that, right? So download it right now. It's easy to use. You've got to be 18 and over. Be gamble aware, of course. Always be sensible, but download that right now. You know what? There was a load of big games on. I'm going to start with the Manchester United one. We're going to get into the Liverpool-Arsenal one, but let's start with the Manchester United versus West Ham game. We've got Nicky here. He said he's got a song for Flex, right? But we've got Nick in here. Nicky, really disappointing during the week from West Ham, going to Liverpool, losing 5-1, going out of the Carabao Cup. Lots of players rested. A lot of pressure on David Moyes yesterday because it's almost like, you could see like fans are thinking, all right, you did all that because you got this game coming up. You better win it, which is never an easy thing to do when you're playing Man United, no matter how bad a state they're in. And you well deserved to win that game. I mean, 2-0 to West Ham, and
it was tight. I was there. It was tight. It was a tight game. It wasn't. I wouldn't say it was tense because there's no pressure on us. You know, there's pressure on Manchester United. Always there's pressure on Manchester United. But when you look at the game as a whole, it came down to 4 chances. They had 2 golden opportunities to score.
Garnacho had one, didn't he?
Garnacho had both of them, actually.
Yeah.
Garnacho had both chances, and he fluffed his lines. And then when we got our 2 chances, I mean, the first one, massive bit of luck. You know, I think it's a goalkeeping error, in my opinion. Fantastic ball by Paquetá. Yeah, really unusual, yeah. But and then we wrapped it up with Kudus. But Man United are a poor side. They are a poor side. And I remember I got really slated last year when I come out and said on one of the shows, I think West Ham are a better pound for pound, player for player team than Manchester United. And people go, "Are you joking? You talking?" I just think that they're just a poor side, poorly run side, poorly invested inside. I don't know where they go from here. I really don't, because I heard Flex the other week saying we need a full reset. I mean, they need a reset more often than my little Chinese gaming box that I bought. You have to reset it every time that you want to play a new game. It's just ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know where they go. They are in the mud.
Yeah, they are in the mud. They dropped to 8th place, Abby, with that defeat. The last 4 games, 4 defeats in a row in all competitions, and 4 games without a goal. Rasmus Højlund hasn't scored in the Premier League yet this season. And you've got to wonder to yourself, actually, before I go to you, Abby, I'm going to throw this back quickly to Nikki. How could Erik ten Hag have not bought, say, a Kudus, but he's bought Anthony? I don't. What's the? Because they both play for him at Ajax.
Yeah. I don't think it's the players. I think it's just the culture there. I really do. The culture's been suffering for a long time. I think if Kudus went to Man United, he'd probably be in the same position. I do not think it's the players. And I've been saying this for a while. There's been a rot setting in there for a long, long time. And they get these managers in, and I remember Flex sitting there, and this is going to be the guy. Then I remember the guy before that. This is going to be the guy. That guy's going to be the guy. Everyone's going to be the guy. But eventually, I think they just succumb to the rot. The culture, yeah, it's rotten. It's rotten, and they've all come in trying different ideas. They need a Christmas miracle. That's what they need. They need a Christmas miracle, because I can't see, as a fan. I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I don't know what's the problem. But it just seems like every time they get someone new, the players are coming in, the players are going out. They cannot find the core of the problem, and they need to, and quickly, because listen, this Premier League nowadays, man, it moves fast.
I think it
You're
was
up,
the
down.
DM that used to play for the Matic.
Yeah.
He gave an interview recently, and he was talking about the culture of the club being wrong, basically. And he was saying that there was constant lateness.
Yeah.
He actually named Pogba and Jadon Sancho as the 2 worst offenders. And he said it got so bad that the players themselves had to organise a fine system. And they collected like 75 grand in a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
due to people turning up late. So
imagine that to me. And funny enough, right, that when that one, as you're talking about culture, and that one thing you just stated about people turning up late, what was the first thing that Arteta came down hard on at Arsenal with
Lateness.
the captain, which was
Aubameyang,
Aubameyang, very popular player, but always late. Stripped him of the captaincy. Then, after that, gave him another chance. Still late. Just literally bombed him out of the whole team. And but what's going wrong there, Abby? I mean, Manchester United are just, like Nikki said, they're right in the mud right now. I mean, they've lost 8 games already out of the 18 that they played in the Premier League.
I think I heard a stat yesterday. It was like, if they would have lost yesterday, which they did, it was the
worst start since 1930.
Yeah, something for like 90 years or something. It's
and I
really,
think with that
really
game
bad.
Yesterday that they lost, they've lost more games at this stage of the season
than ever, I think.
Yeah. Than they did
Yeah,
last
it's bad what's going on in Manchester United, and I mean, I would say I feel for them, but I don't. But I feel for the fans, because it's quite similar to where I was sitting last year when I had just given up hope with Tottenham, because you can actually see what the issues are. It's not just the players, it's not just the manager, it is a cultural thing. It stems from the top, and that's what I've always said when it comes back to Spurs. I've said when the issues are there and the same problems keep arising whenever you change a different manager, different team, whatever, the same problems still come because it's the culture of the club.
But you've changed the manager.
We have.
You've got the same owners.
We have.
And look at the change in the players. Look at the relation between the players, between the fans and the new manager. But at the same time, Ange came in and did things that other managers haven't. He made big calls and stopped playing the likes of Eric Dyer, stopped playing the likes of Højbjerg. You know, players that had... look, I don't want to say they're awful players because obviously they play in the Premier League. They can't be that bad, but have never been able to deliver consistently for Tottenham. Ten Hag did that, didn't he? He came in, stopped playing Maguire and players like that.
Ronaldo?
But exactly, and Ronaldo. And he made big calls last year, and we were sitting here, you know, praising Eric Ten Hag for kind of leading with an iron fist and being that guy, because we thought, well, that's actually what these players need. And I still think that's what they need. I still think they need some type of authoritarian person to come in and say that you can't do this. No. So then it comes down to the personnel, and that's why you haven't really seen Rashford feature that much in the last couple of weeks, because clearly Rashford's got this big old contract that he was rewarded with, and it's not being shown on the pitch. But I can't defend Ten Hag for the signings he's made, because a lot of these players he has brought in from Ajax, and they're not delivering. And I do agree with you though that if Kudus had gone to Manchester United, I think we'd be talking about him average player, why they spent all this money on him. But in a system at West Ham, he's thriving despite what you feel about David Moyes. And I think that that's also the problem. Eric Ten Hag has openly said and admitted he doesn't have a set way he wants to play with these players. This isn't his first season. I would let him off if he said that last year. He's still finding his feet. But he's been there 18 months. A lot of these players he's brought in are his players, and players that are coming through the youth academy that he's now, I guess, introducing. So they should know, and you as a manager should know, the style of football that you want to be playing. And when I look at Manchester United, I don't see a work rate, I don't see a work ethic, I don't see a style of play, I don't see a team that is hungry at all. It's like they're just turning up there to do a job, and if they lose, they lose. That's a very good point. I mean,
you've only got to look at the captain.
Yeah.
Nuno. I mean, he's supposed to be the manager's guy on the pitch. A lot of it starts from him and the way he conducts himself. I mean, he's a very good, talented player, but unfortunately, man, he's got a lot of attitude about him. Petulant.
But we say that about a lot of Manchester United players. I mean, look, Jadon Sancho has been frozen out for months now. Whatever will happen with him in January or come the summer is a different story. But he's not a player that has no talent. You know, he was wanted by so many different clubs around Europe. You don't just go to, you know, Manchester United and become a shit player. There's obviously something that happens within the club and the culture. If I was a Manchester United fan, I would want a full clear out. I would want to get rid of Marcus Rashford. I want to get rid of everyone that I felt has been... Anthony Martial has been there nearly 10 years. You know, these are players that are picking up a very large pay packet and not giving anything back to Manchester United, and never have. In the case of Marcus Rashford, he has those purple patches, but they're just patches. You know, this is a player that isn't particularly young anymore. He should be in his peak. He should be hitting that prime. And we're just not seeing it. I don't think Manchester United can carry people anymore.
But I think that's what you get from getting owners that don't really care about the football. They don't care about the football. They care about the profitability. They care about the brand. They don't care about the football.
I agree with that, but I could say the same for Tottenham. That's how we've felt.
I think that's how football's going.
For the last 4 or 5 years, we are just a member of a portfolio. That's what we are. We also do concerts. We do NFL. We do lots of things. We're going to do F1 go-karting. And that was the problem that I had with the club last year, that it just felt that no one cared about the actual footballing side and having success on the pitch.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it falls down to the manager. And your manager's come in and he's changed things and he's changed the culture. Ten Hag isn't. How long does he have? He's got 2 games coming up now over the Christmas period, right? What? Boxing Day, Aston Villa at home. That's a tough game.
Well, I'm telling you this,
then
Robbie.
He goes away next week, Saturday, just before New Year's, to Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest away. And we know that a lot of managers lose their job just before the transfer window opens up, when the owners look on it and think, do we really want to give... I mean, if you're the owner of Man United, you're thinking, boy, I gave him Anthony.
Yeah.
I gave him Onana. I gave him all these players,
it's not
right?
for lack of
Am I going to give him more money in January? I mean, how long's he got, Nicky?
There's only one sack coming at Christmas at Manchester this Christmas, and that's for Eric Ten Hag.
If they do get rid of him, who do they replace him with? I mean, there's rumours abounding that Graham Potter is being lined up. Now, if that is true, I'm sorry.
But they need to.
I don't think Graham Potter's a bad manager.
I don't. Yeah, you're right. It's not necessarily a bad manager.
He was very highly regarded before going to Chelsea. You can't tar him with the Chelsea brush.
No,
Chelsea are in also
true,
another
but
terrible
what I would
position.
say is, with Graham Potter, I always felt, even when he rocked up at Chelsea. Certain jobs,
Too big
like
for
the
him.
Arsenal job, they require a certain gravitas. And if you don't have that, I think you're going to struggle. And I think Graham Potter, especially after what happened at Chelsea, I can't see it working at Man United, if that is the designated.
But then if they sack
person.
Erik ten Hag, that's the question you have to ask. Who is out there? Who comes in?
They have to find someone. That is
Would
the
you
that,
want Graham Potter
but
if he was a Man United?
Not at Manchester United, but I would have taken him at Tottenham. I definitely would have taken him at Tottenham.
but they need to find. They're a big enough club to be able to pull any manager.
Well,
But they have to identify him. If he's a free agent like Potter, happy days.
You
but
know what, you say that, but I take issue with that, you know. If you are, say you're, I mean, I know it was not going to happen. A lot of people, Xabi Alonso seems to be the in thing at the moment.
yeah.
Say, put aside the Liverpool connection. Young, bright manager, highly thought of. If somebody was to go to him now and say, do you want the Man United job? I think he'd turn it down. It's not the right
I think
time.
if you chuck
The
enough
club
money
is
at
so
them, I
rotten
think,
that-
I don't know who. I don't know honestly who they would get in.
I can't think. I mean, I have the same with ours. That people ask me, who would you get? It's not my job to think about who they're going to get. That's not my problem. That's their problem.
Well, Ameli says Old Trafford roof is leaking. Ronaldo said that the Caff and Gym is old and dated. They spent £90 million on a £25 million value player. United club is poorly managed, and I think we all saying that. Pavan says West Ham are massive. Biggest club in London, facts. And then he throws in some irons there. I think me and Abby and Laurie will take exception to that. But it was a fantastic win for West Ham. And, you go above United now up into
Sixth place, yeah.
Sixth place.
Can't complain about that.
Jared Bowen says they want to get sixth minimum. So he's setting his height.
I think that's going to be tough. That'll be tough to sustain there. We're going to lose Kudus in January, of course. But we need to be starting to sort of plan the next stage. If we're going to progress, as I said, we need to start, thinking about that. And listen, David Moyes, for all his faults, has got a fantastic ability to. I called it yesterday, tame the beast. They've got Jadon Sancho there that's sitting on the in the mud at Man United. He's not doing anything. Could that be a Kudus replacement for West Ham? I'd love him to come to West Ham.
Like a loan.
Yeah, like a loan till the end of the season. He's not going to be playing any football. There's talks about him even releasing his contract. He's on something like £300,000 a week.
But be warned though, because I have read that Jadon Sancho was beginning to be a problem at Dortmund, which is one of the reasons I was keen to let him go.
Yeah.
You've seen what he's done at Man United.
Well, if you take him on, but if you
with
take
David Moyes' countenance,
You've got to humble him
if
a
you
little
take
bit.
him on loan, you know what I mean, and if sometimes you see some problem players go to other clubs and do really, really well. So we'll have to wait and see. Of course, the big game yesterday, I was at the game. It was Liverpool versus Arsenal. I thought it was a great game. Jurgen Klopp, before the game, during the week, asked for the atmosphere at Anfield to be loud, to be raucous, and he got his wish. It was loud. It was raucous. They were really up for it. Anfield under the lights is always a very difficult place to go to. And I thought it was a great game. I thought Arsenal started the game brilliantly, got the early goal, but apart from the early goal, were playing brilliantly. I thought bopping the ball around the midfield and looking really dangerous, and maybe should have scored again. Had chances, but then a moment of brilliance by Mo Salah. Pretty poor defending, I thought, by Zinchenko, and a moment of brilliance by Salah.
You were there,
And that's all
right?
you got.
So-
Let me finish, right? And then he scores that goal, absolutely brilliant goal. Then they sort of come back on top. Then Arsenal got back on top. Then the second half comes. I thought, Liverpool, they changed. What they did is they were really intense, really didn't give us any time. And then they sort of came back into it. But then the last sort of 10, 15 minutes, I thought when we made those substitutions of Trossard and Eddie Nketiah, we came back into it. It could have went either way.
Yeah,
the
it was a good game.
And I think 1-1 was a fair result. And I think probably a better result for us because we finished the league, finished Christmas top of the league. So a really difficult place to go to. But what did you guys make of the game? And you was going to just ask
No,
me?
I was just saying, with the goal, we did the watch-along on AFT.
Which goal are you on about?
Liverpool's
goal.
So we were speculating. The Trent's long ball, diagonal ball, that seemed to go over, well, it did go over Zinchenko's head. Do you think he could have attacked that? Or do
you know
think it
what?
was such a perfectly
I
weighted
came out of the
ball?
game and I was like, he lost the flight of the ball. Should have got that. But then I went home last night and I watched it back and I was like, hey, hold on, man. That's a brilliant pass, man. I'm not too sure if he did. But where I kind of criticise him is what he did afterwards. It was a very feeble attempt.
It was.
I know Salah's so quick, he's difficult. You know in the box if you touch him, he's going over, right? So I get all that, but I still think he should get your body more around, and he just sort of hanged the leg, didn't he?
Plus, you know what he's going to do.
And if you get him cutting in on that left foot,
foot.
and it was a brilliant finish, man. And then, you know, it was a, you know what I mean, this was a great game. We offered a lot, they offered a lot, you know what I mean. I thought that we dominated the midfield. I thought what they did is, when Trent in particular, I thought had a really good game. He'd get on the ball in the middle and he'd be just spraying out these passes diagonal. But they didn't try to play through the midfield because I think they knew we were too good there. And again, your guy, Declan Rice.
I'll take my apologies in a couple of days, I'm sure.
You should re-invoice him because I think what they paid.
We owe you more money. We owe you more money. He was outstanding again. You know what I mean? I thought he was outstanding. Some of the outstanding players in the game on both sides, I thought, for Arsenal, Declan Rice, Saliba, Gabriel, I thought, brilliant. On the Liverpool side, Konate.
Yeah,
I said after the game, right, I said, we keep talking about England's chances for the Euros, but France, they've got Konate and Saliba.
Yeah.
And they don't even always play. And that's the two guys I saw there, I'm like,
so many good centre backs.
yeah, I was like, they're both brilliant. Like at Konate, I thought Joe Gomez played well for them, and Trent Alexander-Arnold. You know, Salah was actually quiet in the game. We kept him quiet apart from that moment.
I actually feel, I know he was good against you during the week, but I feel like the last couple Premier League games I've watched Salah, he hasn't actually been like the Salah that we're so used to.
But he's so
seeing.
good, it just takes a moment.
Yeah, give him a chance.
Probably if we were playing someone else yesterday, he'd probably win the game because he wouldn't have done what he did. I mean, the other player, you make a little error, you get away with it, but you don't get away with it with Liverpool.
I need to ask you about the penalty shout, Odegaard, because I think there's lots of people that probably think that should have been a penalty. He definitely handled the ball inside the box. He thought it was NBA. But it wasn't given.
3 points.
Yeah, it wasn't given.
Yeah.
If that was the other way round, let's say that had been on Arsenal, would you feel aggrieved that wasn't?
I would. If it was the other way round, I would have felt aggrieved. I was right behind the goal when it happened. And I have to say, even at the time, watching it in real time, I'm like, hey, we got a problem here, man. That looks like a handball. Me and Cecil stood. I got Cecil. I go, hey, look, this might go VAR, you know, because I go, Odegaard touched it.
Right? I thought it was a penalty as well.
I thought it was Stonewall.
Do you know what, though?
I thought it was
Do you know
Stonewall.
what? This is why I think it wasn't given, yeah? I would be aggrieved if it was me, right? When I came out of the game, I say we did a show earlier. When I came out of the game, at least 10 Scousers came up to me with their phones. Robbie lad, look at this, including Doyle. Who, by the way, Doyle was very aggrieved about it.
Imagine.
Very aggrieved, right? But they came up to me with their phones and they're showing me it, right? There's one guy who showed me it, and he showed me 2 angles. So there's one angle, the first angle, you're like, bloody hell, handball. You see, like, but when you look for it from the other angle, it looks like Odegaard is sort of falling over, right? And he goes to break his fall, then his hand touches the ball. And under the new rules, if you're breaking your fall and you're dropping it's not a penalty. So I feel that because of that, I feel that if he would have given it, the referee on field, they would have said, stick with it. But because he didn't give it, there's enough doubt in there for them to say, actually, don't give it. So I think that's what happened, but certainly we definitely got away with it. But then was it a penalty on Havertz as well? I thought I was right behind that one as well, and I thought that was a penalty because Trent Alexander didn't get the ball.
Push. He pushes him out the way with his elbow
as he's going through on goal.
I mean, when I saw it initially, I thought it's a bit innocuous. Maybe there's not enough contact to make him go over in that way. But when you watch it again, and I think you'll agree that that's a penalty.
No, I do agree. This is the problem, isn't it? We're sitting here. You've got a clear system. There's a clear system in place, and you're sitting there and you feel, well, this is why I think this, and this is why I think that, and this is where I think they're going. It shouldn't be like that. It should be a clear set of rules and a clear consistency, And that's it.
No, but to be fair, some of those decisions are subjective, don't they?
But
Like,
that's the
again,
problem.
This is what we argue about every week. It shouldn't be subjective.
shouldn't be subjective,
The whole
yeah.
point of VAR is to not be subjective.
No, but how do you make a hard and fast rule about?
Well,
say
because
the Havertz
a
one?
rule is a rule. So let's say if there's a significant push in the box and the player who's offending didn't get the ball, then that's a pen. If someone touches the ball with their hand in the box, then it's a pen. But again, we always have these little loopholes that seem to go around. 1 week something's given. I guarantee you something will be given, you know, in these Boxing Day fixtures along this week.
Well, listen,
that's happened in the box. Something will be given for a push on the back in the box. Something will be given for a handball where he's falling. And again, we'll be sitting here next week talking about.
So
the same
we've
thing.
had a couple of those go against us, right? So I'll take
Surprised
it.
that
But
at Liverpool, they did not give
yeah,
that pen.
I would say you could say we get away with one, but then Lee made me laugh last night outside the game because, as I said, he just had loads of Liverpool fans walking around with phones. Look at this, right? And Lee goes to one guy, goes, "How comes you ain't showing me the Havertz one? None of you ain't got the Havertz one." And the guy goes, "Couldn't find that one, lad," and started laughing.
Yeah.
So listen, I thought 1-1 was a fair result, and I think it was a big point for Arsenal. I think as well for Arsenal, where I thought it was quite significant for us, not just the fact that we're top of the table for Christmas, but the fact that we showed that we can go to somewhere like Liverpool, play like that.
And get a point as well.
You know, played well.
I hope Cecil ain't got that T-shirt printing machine.
Oh, Cecil had it on his story again last
No,
night.
don't worry. We've banned that T-shirt, man. That T-shirt has been banned forever.
I'm starting to believe in Arsenal. I really am. I really am starting to, because that is a massive point at Anfield, because their record there is formidable.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. And that's a game in the past that maybe you go there and you lose 2-1 and you sort of start to think, listen, I always thought Arsenal would be close this season. I didn't think they was going to fall off. But you've got characters in there now.
Yeah.
You've got character in there. And I think, right, and I'm not going to just blow my own trumpet, and I've been telling you this, I think my boy might lead you to the title. Because when the going gets tough, I think he's the type of character, and you've got them type of characters. As long as Saliba and players like that stay fit, you've got the characters now that are going to stand up and say, right, this is where we've got to be counted. A point at Anfield is nothing to be sniffed at.
Especially just before Christmas, when they know, remember, it's a game where they know if they win, they go top.
They go top, yeah.
Especially after Klopp was like, right, guys, come on, and they responded. And I think what really, I was so happy about was that despite that, Arsenal just went out there for the first half an hour and dominated the game. Like, the way they played was some of the best football we played for a while.
I'll tell you what else was impressive, just very quickly, on Declan Rice. I thought he was amazing. Don't forget, he got booked in about the 40th minute.
Yeah.
So he had to go the rest of that game playing in that position, DM, helping out the defenders and all that, knowing that if you miss time just one tackle, there's a high possibility you could get
It's an
five
intense
players.
game, isn't it? Yes.
and at times, Liverpool had us under pressure.
Yeah.
Remember that time he's up against five players rushing him?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good player, man. Let's do some super chats here. GP says, I get a feeling he's a United fan who's not too happy with proceedings at the moment, because he says, GP says, Arsenal have not won the Premier League since the PS2 era and Spurs since Pac-Man. I mean,
they haven't won it since the Xbox 360 era.
Tony says, Robbie, the next time you see AGT, I saw him last night after the game, he said, tell him two things. Liverpool's the only team winless against the big six teams, and two, Anfield's pitch staff are a disgrace. Players were like Bambi on ice. So many players were slipping over. There is a rumour that they overwatered it. But I don't know.
Well, it works for both
Both
sides.
sides,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's no
Carl
consistency against Arsenal.
Carl Bates says United need to bail out Paratici and make him buy players. Edu bought Arteta, Martinelli, Saliba and Gabriel. Just look at the Spurs squad's change. Vishesh says the other way round, and Cryteta would moan for weeks if it had been the other way round. I'm sure he would have. I'm sure he would have moaned. But we've had a load of those go against us. We had two go against us at Villa. We had the big one go against us at Newcastle. Both games that we, ended up losing. Omar says he didn't slip. Mo forced him to lose his balance. That's what he said. Come on, right? London Nomad says, aren't there any rules about how much you can water a pitch? A lot of people are getting onto this pitch watering stuff. Liverpool deliberately watering it more to slow down the passes, and players were slipping.
Slow down.
I always thought it. Yeah, I always thought
surely.
it makes it slicker, and makes it
Yeah.
quicker. Ibi says, "Give this £2 to Nicky."
Cheers, mate.
Thank you for Declan Rice. He says, "Oh, you get £2
Yeah,
now."
I want another 500,000 too. Thank you.
Woodsy says, "Admit you got a good point. You didn't deserve Xmas truth." He says, "No, we did deserve a
If
point."
you look at the stats, it does even bear out what you say.
We
I
did
think
deserve
the
a
David
point.
draw
Fair
was
result.
definitely fair.
Yeah, it was
Yep.
a fair result.
Look at the stats, and you'll see what we're talking
Yeah.
about.
Vishesh says, "Abby smiling, watching everyone else overrate Declan Rice."
I actually don't think he's overrated at all. I think he's underrated.
Oh, okay. So do I, by the way. D. Ricky says, "Arsenal this, Paul that, Villa who. I'm more scared of Spurs winning the league and stopping the four-peat than those MFers when they get their players back. Ange is
4
bloody
points off the
good."
top, guys.
Right, I think he's a City fan.
Good.
Yeah, right. You're not worried about Liverpool and Arsenal. Okay. But having said that, Tottenham, they are only 4 points despite the defeats they've had, the tough times they've had. They're 4 points off the top of the league. Richarlison scoring again. And yeah, that was another impressive win over Everton, even though Everton came back into the game. It had a goal disallowed by
Yeah, they
Calvert-Lewin. They'll feel very aggrieved by that because it was one of those ones where they pulled it back in the build-up. I
didn't
never
pull it-
really like to see those ones.
They
you know?
didn't pull it far back. They pulled it back just literally the move before the goal. It wasn't like down the other end of the pitch. It was the next move that led to the goal. So I said
Was
to
it
you,
a big enough foul?
I said to you before we started filming. I think it is soft. I do think it's soft, and I think if it was the other way around, I would also be pissed off about it. However, if that's, you see it given every single week. You know when people are in the corner and then like the liner puts the flag up and stuff like that. It's given every single week in every single game. So I do see that side of it, but it's soft. But then again, the game is a bit like that now. So I'm not surprised they did it, but I can understand that it's a little bit soft. And I think with Spurs, again, they were absolutely cruising. And then Everton are a good team. You know, the table is lying, in fact, in their case, because if it hadn't been for the 10-point deduction, I think they'd be 8th or something.
10th, I think they'd
maybe,
been there,
maybe
yeah.
10th now. I think it was more than that. But
I think they would have been 7th at one point.
yeah, they you know, they've been doing really well, and they're definitely it's the best season they've had for God knows how many years. So you've got to give them respect for that and what Sean Dyche is
good
doing.
manager.
But again, it was very typical Spurs, like, you know, in control, and then just decide, you know, we fancy just letting you come on to us and playing high line for life. And I think we have got so many injuries, and now I sound like a broken record. But again, Romero went off second half yesterday. I think it was just a niggle. I don't think it's anything serious, but again, hamstring. Obviously missing Basuma through suspension, Udogie through suspension. So look, some of the things that we're missing is down to our
Well, no,
own
if you're
fault,
missing
but-
guys through suspension, that's their fault.
No, absolutely. And you know, with Basuma, he's an idiot. You know, he's already missed 3 games for us. He's now missing another 4. Then whatever comes for AFCON. But again, like for Spurs to have kind of gone, and we still are going through this little trench situation with 10 first team players out. But if we can stay in and around, you know, that top 4 area until we get everyone back, which, in fairness, because of the injuries and because of AFCON and Asia Cup, we probably won't have a full strength team until end of Feb, March. But if we can stay in and around that,
Yeah, of course.
you know, I'm not saying we're going to win the league at all, but that's a pretty good season. You
I
know, to
know,
be 4 points off top by Christmas. I mean, our expectation was absolutely not that. We were hoping for maybe a top 6 finish, top 8, you know, off the back of last season and Ange's first season. So he is working wonders. I just can't wait to have everyone back fit again.
I said this on the build up to the West Ham Tottenham game. I like the approach. I like the approach from Ange because he sticks with it. Listen, is it a bit naive at times? Yeah, it is. But what he's got doing is he's got positivity flowing through Tottenham. You know,
He's got what Man United ain't got, isn't he?
It's
Exactly.
actually a belief.
he's got
a style of play. You
and
know
the
what I mean?
backing.
Everybody knows what Tottenham are going to do. Everyone knows how they're going to play. All the players are on board. All the fans are on board. That's why, you know, the amazing thing this season's been Tottenham have had games where they've got beat.
But the fans come out.
You know, I'll speak to Abby, I'll speak to like Max and the guys like that,
Yeah.
right? And they'll be like, "No, I'm happy."
Yeah.
I'm like, "You lost." And I'm like, "No, but
West
Robbie,
Ham
you don't
game-
understand.
The
It's
West
how
Ham
we
game
play."
was really frustrating because I didn't feel like you deserved to win that game. I thought, I think a draw would have been fine because of how poor we were the second half. But the first half, it should have been well away and done, and we just gifted you 2 goals. So like games like that,
Yeah, but you
do
gotta learn
irritate
from
me.
that. It's
No,
early
100%.
days, yeah.
But games like that annoy me because it's like, well, The Wolves game can fully take that loss and hold it. The Chelsea game annoys me because it was our own fault, our own fault for that. West Ham, our own fault. Villa, again, didn't take our chances. We're by far the better team on the day. So there's things that you have to learn and make sure that you don't repeat them.
There's a comment here from Jacob Tete, right? Which I was going to ask you this as well in one of the comments. He says, Spurs get tired after 30 minutes. Any team who keeps a clean sheet for the first 30 minutes win against Spurs any day. Is it with Spurs? They start off games like an absolute train. And you know what? Funny enough, we were doing this last year and we run out of steam towards the end of the season. Is that the only worry? Because what especially at your place, you start off games like an absolute train. But it seems like nearly every game you seem to start running out of steam and then teams come back into games.
I would say again, like if you look at the first...
That was what happened in the Villa game.
But if you look at the first 10 games of the season where you have your starting 11 as it would be, minus probably Bentancur because he will start. We weren't losing games like that, And then since the Chelsea game, obviously we haven't had a setback for. We had Romero out for 3 games, Udogie missed games. We were playing with 4 fullbacks at one point. In the midfield, we've had to bring Højbjerg in, skip in, these players that will be fringe and probably be leaving. So again, I'm not basing it too much on that because I think when everyone's fully fit, we had absolutely no defensive problems whatsoever when it was...
No, but it's not the...
You're talking about being tired.
I'm just on about the style of play. They give so much intensity at the start of a game.
I'm saying that the players that we've had for the start of the season who are built for the system weren't getting tired. They were absolutely fine. We were winning games, no problem.
No, but even when they were in, you were conceding goals. So teams were getting back into games.
But we're conceding the odd goal. We're not conceding 4 goals a game, 5 goals a game. We're conceding the odd goal here and there.
Point of me when he said that.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
4 or 5 goals a game.
It's true. When you concede a lot. We're not conceding goals like that. And I feel that the players that are coming in and having to play in the system aren't up to the level. So I think they are getting tired quicker. The likes of Højbjerg, the likes of Skip. Højbjerg's job he's not the type of player you want running around. He likes to stay in that position. And he'll probably be one that does go, whether it's in January because of the injuries or not, but he'll definitely go in the summer. And the same with Skip. So they are tired because that's not their natural game that they have to play. They're not high pressing players. But when it is that starting 11, they weren't tired. We were winning games very comfortably, and it wasn't this where after half an hour we're not dropping back because we never do, but inviting teams onto us a little bit more. We weren't seeing that. But I think that while we're still having to kind of plug holes, and it depends really what we do in January. I think we're actually linked with players for the first time in years in Jan. We're usually never linked to anyone. Been linked to loads of centre backs. Conor Gallagher is a name that also keeps coming up. And I really hope that we do something because I think that when you look at the squad depth and how much we've had to utilise it because of the injuries, it's not good enough. And I just don't know if we can just rely on getting everyone back come March time and then having that final push. I still think we need more during that period where Son's away, Basuma's away, Sar's away, and we're still missing Madison Van de Ven, etc. And we don't know what other injuries we could pick up during that time. So I still think January's huge for Spurs.
Okay,
huge.
Guys, don't forget Fair Play, the app. Get involved with that right now. As I said right at the start of the show, if you want to run a bet, I bet you that Arsenal finish higher than Spurs. No, you don't want it. Right. If you want to run any of them bets anyway, I'm only joking with her, right? If you want to run any of those bets, you use the app. Download it right now. There's a barcode. You can just scan that, right? And you can get all the details of that. Use the promo code OVER. And if there are over 10 goals in the first half of the games this week, you will get yourself a free £5 bet, and I'm sure that's going to happen. I think there'll be a lot of goals.
Arsenal playing West Ham this week, aren't they? Away.
Users need to be 18 plus, be gamble aware. Scan the QR code right now. Some other games that took place. Newcastle losing to Luton.
That did not surprise me at all.
Do we need to start asking some questions about Eddie Howe? They've dropped now to 7th, right? That's 7 losses in the Premier League this season. They went out of Europe, very tough group, but didn't even get Europa. He's going for a bit of a tough time at the moment. Losing away at Luton for a team like Newcastle, I know I was there, a difficult place to go to, but still, not a great result.
That was always going to be a difficult game for Newcastle. Coming off some poor results, got a load of injuries, and Luton, as you said, difficult place to go, even though...
A load of injuries. They had a lot of players back yesterday. Isak was playing, Wilson, you know what I mean?
Okay, but they've had their fair share of injuries, as they've had a lot of teams. But I knew that was going to be a difficult game because you factor in what happened to Luton's captain last week, Tom
Yeah.
Lockyer. So this would have been the first game after that. You saw the way the fans were, the whole atmosphere was, and the manager said that he'd spoken to the players and said, let's do this for Tom.
Yep.
And so I was not surprised in the slightest.
Yeah,
that
but
Luton beat them.
it's not. I mean, I'm not saying yet. I think it'd be very unfair to he has had a lot of injuries, but we all know how this thing goes. Right, the Saudi owners are not going to be looking and liking 7th place in the league right now. I mean, we're only halfway through the season, but he's got to start picking up some results, hasn't he?
He has, and it all depends on what the Saudi owners and the way they see what's going on there. I mean, look, I think in the terms of the project, I think they was way ahead of the curve last year. You know, from when they taken over, I didn't even think they had a win. I don't even think they had a point, did they?
They didn't. I think they were bottom when he
Yeah,
took over.
they was rock bottom. He took over. Listen, second season when you've got a full season, second season is always difficult, and they've had their fair share of bad luck, the Tonali stuff, and stuff like that is that's not great, and it doesn't sort of bode well for the club because it doesn't look like they've done their due diligence on players, but. It all comes down. Are these owners someone that's going to believe and let him, make mistakes and learn from them mistakes, or are they going to be these like the Chelsea model where him out, next one in? So this is telling. This is telling.
You need some wins very fast. Your ex-manager, I'm talking about, not ex, right? Your ex-manager, Nuno Espirito Santo, made his debut yesterday. Another defeat for Nottingham Forest at home, losing 3-2 to Bournemouth. A hat-trick for Dominic Solanke. He's on fire at the moment. I would have really liked to ask Matisse, yet again, Nicholas Jackson Solanke. I mean, Solanke, a guy who came through the system at Chelsea, they got rid of. He's doing brilliantly.
He's been linked with Arsenal.
Has been linked, although I've heard where that's been, refuted. But in that game, Nottingham Forest, right? I don't know. I think I saw the most scandalous decision of the weekend, and I think Nuno Espirito Santo can be really count himself unlucky with this game because they went down to 10 men. Forest. Was it Willy Bolly?
It was ridiculous.
A second yellow card. He won the ball.
Well, he was the one who got trotted on as well.
Yeah, and the problem with this is that VAR don't look at things like this. So they just have to go with what the referee did. It's an obvious mistake. Do they need a rule change maybe with the VAR to look at things like this? Because it was that's lost in the game, hasn't it?
I think what they're saying is they wouldn't review it because it was a second yellow card.
Yeah, that's the rules. They don't review those, right. But maybe because it was scandalous.
But we've always had this sort of fit, haven't we? But even when it come to like before VAR and stuff, you couldn't. Do you remember you couldn't? I don't know whether it's changed, but you couldn't dispute a second yellow card.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like if you got a red and a suspension, you couldn't dispute it, but you could dispute a red. There's always been holes in the system. I think that. Listen, I'm not going to turn around and say we need more VAR. I'm not going to do that because. Look, referees make mistakes. They're human. It's human error. Look, it's ridiculous. It looks ridiculous on the face of things. But I'm not going to turn around and go get VAR involved because they can't even run that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think, listen, just make everyone's going to get one, Liverpool feel like they've got one. Now Forest feel like they've got one. Just let the referees referee the game. I think there needs to be less VAR. There's definitely don't need more.
I've got to disagree. I'm in favour of VAR. I just think it's human error, and gross incompetence that's causing the problems. But if you've got the technology there, use it.
I think that we should just stop pissing about with changing formats of teams. For example, like Champions League and this stupid Super League stuff. Stop pissing about with that and actually focus on making the game itself better. And I think if you're going to use VAR, then use all of VAR. We can't just pick and choose what parts of it we want to use. I think for example, the ball when it goes out, in your game against Newcastle, we've seen that work in World Cups. Why do we not have it? Automatic offsides. Why do we not have it? And again, things like that. I mean, why can't you review a second yellow? Why can't you? Yeah. Why can't you do that? So I think if you're going to have VAR, I'm absolutely for it, but have the whole thing, not just pick and choose the parts of it.
And that's why it doesn't work.
That's why it doesn't work because you've still got too much human error interference at stake.
Yeah, massive win for Burnley yesterday, going to Fulham. We've been on fire, by the way, at home. They beat beat your guys
Yeah,
5-0.
yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? They had 2 5-0s back to back, and then they go and lose at home to Burnley 2-0. And that was a crazy game because it was all Fulham. And then 2 great goals by Burnley. And that's a massive result for Burnley. And the other big surprise was on Friday night. With Sheffield United drawing at Aston Villa and really very unlucky not to take all 3 points. Villa with a goal in I think it was a 97th minute. I think Villa are finding out now that everybody's treating them in a different way, aren't they?
Yeah, of course.
Because Sheffield United came, they did that old school low block, and then last 15 minutes they just went for it, and they played really well, Sheffield United. And it's making it really interesting at the bottom now, because at the weekend now, all those teams have had positive results. You would have thought Sheffield United were going to lose. They got a point. They're on 9 points. Burnley, the big win for them, they go on to 11. Luton, with their win, they moved up to 12. But the big losers are Forest now. Only 2 points off the drop zone. And Everton still not far from it. 16 points. You see, all right.
What do you guys make of that appointment, by the way, of Nuno at Forest? I was slightly surprised, I must say.
Just a bit bizarre.
You know that,
I would have kept Steve Cooper.
I think it's a good appointment. I think Nuno Espirito Santo, because when he was, obviously at Spurs, he did not.
Wolves. Like when he was.
Yeah,
at
when he was at Wolves,
he
was excellent.
Yeah.
When he didn't suit. It's a bit like when Emery came to Arsenal. He didn't suit Arsenal. When Nuno Espirito Santo went to Tottenham, he didn't suit Tottenham. Tottenham want
Do you think he'll suit Forest?
I think he'll suit Forest. I really do. I think he'll suit Forest. Steve Cooper, this season his record's been horrendous. I know he brought them up and stuff like that, but
I don't think Nuno's a better manager than Steve Cooper.
I think it's chaotic at Forest.
He brought up Wolves.
Yeah.
You're comparing the 2 records, right, of him and Steve Cooper. I'd say he is a better manager. If you look at their records, he brought Wolves up. He then had Wolves playing brilliantly in the Premier League. Wolves were not a team ever threatened with relegation or nothing like that. Then he started to have a bad time. Well, actually, not a bad time. He was still sustaining Wolves well. Then he got the big move to Tottenham. It didn't work out for him.
He got sacked by Wolves.
Huh?
He got sacked by Wolves.
I think the knock on him as well is that the football that he plays is not
but then he went to.
expensive.
I think he went to Qatar. He went to Saudi Arabia. He won the league. It's not the.
Wow. Please don't use that as an accolade. My God.
He still won the league.
Well, won the Saudi league. Wow.
It's a trophy.
Come on. I genuinely feel like you comparing both of them just then, they're quite similar, I guess, in their journeys. Because again, Steve Cooper brought Forest up. They were bottom of the Championship when he took over. This is only their second season, Forest.
Spent a lot of money for
It's chaos
This
there.
is only their second season in the Premier League.
I know it is chaos.
I looked at
chaos.
Forest come to West Ham, right? And I looked at Forest. They bought on sub. I was thinking, Jesus Christ, when they buy him?
Yeah, they got a lot of players.
And I think the manager might have even. I think he might look in the room one day and go, "Well, Jesus Christ, I didn't know."
But
we
they
had
have
him."
spent a lot of money.
They've spent a lot of players.
They have.
A lot of money on a lot of players. But I think that both of them, they're pretty evenly matched. I don't think Nuno is a better coach than Steve Cooper. I think they're probably quite similar.
Tactically, he is quite respected in the game, apparently.
Steve Cooper?
No.
Nuno?
Yeah.
I mean, I
Both
didn't
of
see
them are.
anything at Tottenham.
There's a lot of rumours linking Steve Cooper with Palace.
Yeah, I can see it.
Could see that, yeah.
Yeah, he'll get work.
Even the names.
He will get work.
Yeah, he'll
I'm
get
sure
work.
he's a decent enough manager. I'm surprised with Nuno.
And Nicky's right. He had a lot going against
chaotic.
the way
Yeah,
he's
it's
chaotic.
chaotic.
There. Just to get through some of these super chats. Where was I? Yeah, KB says, that's right, Robbie. Done, Robbie. Recognise 4 straight defeats and yet we're still in the hunt. What? United? We'll have something to say where the title goes.
Mate, in the hunt for relegation, mate.
Sadiq says, big up Luton. They made Newcastle cry. Rice, baby, he says. Darren Walker says, happy Christmas to everyone at DR Sports, especially Abby. She's my favourite, even though she's a Spurs fan. And Jikor says, don't worry, Nicky, you've got Cornet to replace Kudos and Ben Rama during AFCON.
No, Cornet's going to the AFCON as well. He's from the Ivory Coast.
He's hardly figured, has he, Cornet?
Hardly fair. Who is he?
That player you bought from Burnley that time.
I don't know.
All right, listen, let's quickly run through some of the games that are coming up and get predictions. There's a game happening straight after the show today. That's why we haven't got Matisse today. Chelsea playing today. Chelsea taking on Wolves.
That Wolves, right?
At Wolves.
I
Predictions.
can't remember what I predicted the other day. I definitely would have said a Wolves win.
You did go at
I
Wolves.
definitely went with a Wolves win, but I can't think of what I actually did say. But I'll just go 2-1 Wolves.
1-1.
Yeah, I'm going for a draw as well. I think that'll be a draw.
I was going to go 2-1 Chelsea, but I think I'm going to go with Abbey, man, and go 2-1 Wolves. I don't know. Chelsea, they're all over
What a
the place,
nice
man.
Christmas present that'd be.
That would be.
Oh, that'd be gorgeous.
Right, Boxing Day, Newcastle versus Nottingham Forest.
Newcastle.
Tough game for Nuno, man.
Yeah, I've got to say
12:30.
Newcastle.
Newcastle at home is still quite a formidable
Yeah, they
side.
still haven't lost at home.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
Score.
2-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2-0.
2-0?
I'll go 3-1 Newcastle.
I think it's going to be a hard-fought game, you know. I'm going to go 2-1. Nuno organises teams, but I still think Newcastle will get the job done. 2-1. Bournemouth versus Fulham. Fire at the moment, Bournemouth.
Fulham are weird.
Bournemouth are at home, right?
Yeah.
Fulham are a proper weird team.
Yeah,
Just
trust
go on
me.
a run and score like 10 goals in a week and then just like get battered after that. They're so weird. I feel like it's going to be like another like 3-2, like high scoring game.
To who?
I'm going to back Fulham because they are just weird. I'm going to go 3-2 Fulham.
I agree with you. It's going to be a high-scoring game, but I'm going for Bournemouth. They're a team in form at the moment. Solanke's scoring goals.
I'm going to go for 2-2.
2-2. What did you go?
3-2 to Bournemouth.
I'm going 2-0 Bournemouth. I think they're a good side at the moment. I'm very confident. Sheffield United versus Luton. This is a big game, right?
Huge
Bottom
at
of
the
the
bottom.
table clash. Sheffield United, great point. Would have been disappointing not to get all 3 points. Definitely a different team at the moment under Wilder.
I'm going to back Luton, man.
Luton?
Yeah, I'm going to back Luton. I like Luton. Luton are doing some bits at the minute. 1-0 Luton.
I'm going 1-1 draw. I think it'll be a hard-fought game, nip and tuck, but I think 1-1.
I'm going to go draw as well.
What?
I'll go 2-2.
I'm going to go... No, I think Sheffield United, man. I was impressed with them the other day. They defended brilliantly. I think Luton are good at home. On the road, I'm not too sure.
Now, the trouble with that game is because Sheffield United are at home, they'll be the one that expected to take the game to Luton.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think Wilder...
That'll suit Luton, I think.
Yeah, I think 2-0 Sheffield United. Burnley versus Liverpool. Burnley just got a really good win at Fulham, 2-0. Liverpool ain't been as good on the road.
Yeah,
Although they have only
I think
lost
they'll-
one game this season.
Ultimately, they'll have too much quality. I'm going for Liverpool. Burnley 1, Liverpool 3.
4-0 Liverpool.
2-0 Liverpool.
2-1 Liverpool. I'll go. I think Burnley get 1 goal. Manchester United versus Aston Villa, Nicky.
Definitely getting beat.
Villa. 2-1.
Villa 3. Man United 1, Villa 3.
I think I'm going to go the same as Laurie.
United, they're a weird team, though, isn't it?
They are strange,
Sometimes.
I
yeah.
also don't know where their goals. I don't know where their goals
Yeah,
are coming
you know
from.
what? At home, though,
No.
there has to be a... No, you know what? I'm going to go
But they've not
United.
scored
You
for
say
4
honestly,
games.
you say at home. I was there for that Bayern game. They had to win that. It was silent.
Yeah,
it was absolutely dreadful.
But
in
they
there.
bopped Chelsea. That was,
Yeah, they
That's
did,
Chelsea,
but
though.
that's how bad Chelsea were. That is not much about United. I promise
United,
you.
listen, right? And plus, I want it, right? Because
I knew it was
want it.
because you wanted it. I could see it in your
I
face.
want it, but didn't.
I'm saying they're
Nah, you know
they're
what,
not
I've
winning
gotta
that.
go. I've
They're
Villa ain't
not-
gonna be no threat.
At best, they get a draw. At best,
I've got to go with you guys, man. I think.
they're not winning that.
But don't you think there's?
Nah,
I
they're
think
not winning
Villa might tonk them. It could be one of them where
They're
the fans
definitely not
say-
winning.
They
that.
talked him. His job could
gone.
be. I think there might be a reaction there. I'll go 1-1.
There's no reaction. There's literally no reaction.
Brentford versus Wolves.
Oh,
Brentford had no game at the
Brentford have
weekend
been a
because
bit
Oh,
iffy recently.
they were supposed to
Brentford.
play City,
It's
but
at home
obviously
though,
City.
isn't it? I'm gonna go Brentford. Go 1-0 Brentford.
I don't know, man. Do you know what? I forgot Brentford existed, to be honest with you. I know for
They didn't play at the weekend because they were supposed to play
yeah,
City.
I'll go 1-0. 1-0 Brentford.
I'll go for the Desmond 2.
I'll go 1-0 Brentford as well. At home, there's pretty even though they lost their last home game, but
Gary O'Neill's quite a shrewd manager.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's decent.
I think he'll get a result.
Chelsea versus Crystal Palace. This is a Wednesday.
This is an hard one. It's tough, isn't it?
That's a tough
That's
one.
a tough one, yeah.
It's like part of me thinks they probably would beat Palace.
Palace are going to come and park the bus, you know that, Roy.
And they hate a low block.
And they don't like that.
Yeah, they
1-0.
don't.
1-0.
I think 1-1 as well.
I was going to say the same 1-1.
1-1.
They hate
I'll
a
go
low
for Chelsea.
block.
I'll go
Chelsea?
For Chelsea, yeah, I think they'll beat them 2-0.
2-0.
2-0.
Everton versus Man City. Man City's first game since being crowned
Everton at
as
home.
champions of the world. Everton at home. Been a bit iffy at home, Everton.
City have been a bit iffy in general.
But they need this, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
They do. They need to win.
City
they
have
need,
to
they
win
need
this
to win
really, innit?
convincingly as well.
But it's at Everton.
Yeah. I'm just going to go 2-1 City.
2-1 City. You're going. I think I have to go 2-1 City as well.
I'm going for a scrappy 1-0 win for City.
Do you know what? I'm going to go for a City destruction, because I think that they've gone to the World Cup. They've got their mind off the Premier League where they've faltered a little bit. Now they're coming back to focus. I'm going to go. Yeah, I'm going to go for like a 5-0.
They did win that as
For
well.
City.
5-0?
Yeah, I'm going to go 5-0.
5-0.
no
That's
way.
bold. That's bold, Nicky.
I'm going.
All right.
I'm bold.
Brighton versus Tottenham.
Ooh,
This should be a good game.
injuries.
Stop talking about injuries, man.
We
You
do.
know, you
I
keep
literally. Do you
going
know what? I
injuries.
genuinely don't think.
Like Laurie said, some of these things are self-inflicted. People
yeah, they
being
are.
out.
But then they are.
Brighton have had loads of injuries
Yeah,
as well.
they have. That's what I'm
just
thinking.
the
There's
injury
so many
derby.
injuries. That's what I
So
said.
you meant it for both sides?
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
I did. I think this could be a draw, you know. I tell you what, I'm just going to back Spurs. I'm going to back Spurs anyway. I'm going to go 2-0 Spurs.
2-0.
But there's a big part of me
I
that
think
thinks that's a draw.
I think it's. You know what? Brighton a bit open at the back, man.
So are we.
They leave the door open. So do you. There's gonna be a lot of goals in this, man. I'ma leave the door open. 2-2.
Can see it.
3-2 Spurs.
Could be. I could see that as well.
Yeah, as much as I hate to admit it, Spurs do have their mojo back at the moment, and I think Brighton, like you said, they are a bit open. They're at home.
They're up and down as well, aren't they?
Yeah,
They're
very
wide
good.
open.
2-1 to Spurs, and I say that with gritted teeth.
2-1 to Spurs. And the final game of this sort of sequence of games is going to be Arsenal versus West Ham.
Oh God.
You always roll over for Man
Declan
United.
Derby.
The
I
Declan
can't.
Derby.
I'll be honest. I'm going to be honest as well. We've been bad away. Good at home, bad away. I think Arsenal win this one 3-1, because that's the standard Arsenal West Ham score.
Well, we owe you a 3-1 after the League Cup.
That was worth it, wasn't it?
Yeah, don't need to go rest players in the next game.
Saying
Laurie?
that, you got draw last year. Was that
You know what? I
wasn't it?
think Arsenal will get this. 2-0 Arsenal. We'll win by 2 goals. Could even be 3-1, but definitely Arsenal.
I'm going to go with the draw.
Thanks,
Like
Ash.
I do
Draw?
every week.
I love it. Thank you very much.
I'm going to go with the draw. I'm going to go 2-2.
I'm going to go.
Bowen and Kudos.
I'm going to go with Nicky. I think Arsenal 3-1. We haven't lost at home yet.
First time for everything.
And I think the confidence is up with Arsenal after that performance. Although no Havertz in that game, and you know he's been playing well. So he got suspended.
I think
so.
Declan's going to be a monster. He didn't play very well.
He didn't play very well against you guys.
No,
but
that's the only one he ain't played very well.
Yeah.
So he's
But
going to burn.
I felt, because I was at that game, I felt a bit sorry for him, because a lot of talk before the game was rest him, and then we're like losing 2 or 3. Whatever.
Yeah.
He came on with 15 minutes to go. What was he supposed to do? So, but
Okay.
definitely we'll
games,
get revenge.
definitely games to look forward to. Let me do some of these super chats here. Darren Walker says, "Happy Christmas." Oh, I think I did that one already. Oh no, KB said he was referring to Tottenham, Don Robbie. So he wasn't referring to Manchester United. He's saying that Tottenham are still in the hunt.
We are, we're still in-
all
we're
right.
still in
Sorry,
it, we're still in it.
apologies, KB. They are. They are still in the
Can't-
hunt.
If you're talking about Villa, you can't say we're not.
Yeah, no, they are. They are
We're
still
not,
in the hunt.
but you know what I mean.
Let's give everybody the table as it stands. At the bottom of the table for Christmas is Sheffield United on 9 points, Burnley on 18, Luton on 12. Remember, Luton have a game in hand because their game was postponed against Bournemouth. Nottingham Forest just above that on 14, and Everton's still not out of the woods on 16 points. And then when we go to the top of the pops for Christmas is Arsenal. Look at her eyes.
That eye roll.
Yeah, I'll just give you the facts. Top of the table for Christmas is Arsenal on 40 points. 1 point behind them, Liverpool on 39. Aston Villa also on 39. And Tottenham only 4 points off it now, into the top 4 on 36 points. Manchester City, who have a game in hand, have 34 points. They would have enjoyed all the draws happening over the Christmas period so far. And West Ham United into the top 6 on 30 points. So been a great weekend for Nicky and West Ham. Great Christmas.
Can I give you my Christmas song?
Yeah, go on.
Oh yeah,
Can
your
I finish
Christmas
it off,
song.
yeah?
The Christmas song
this
for
is-
Flex.
Right, we was bantering in a group chat yesterday, and I was telling him, do you know what? Right, Anthony was 2 kuduses. You bought. That's what the price. So this is the 88 million pounds of Christmas, and this is just for Flex. Right, I've written the lyrics down.
Okay, go on.
On the 12th day, I'll give you the end. On the 12th day of Christmas, 88 million pounds bought for me. 12 Andy Coles, 11 Kakars, 10 Jermaine Defoes, 9 Freddie Ljungbergs, 8 Dennis Bergkamps, 7 Fat Ronaldo, 6 Alan Shearers, 5 Thierry Henrys, 4 Cristianos, 3 Yaya Tourés, 2 Kuduses, and a Brazilian that cannot play ball. That's just for you guys. Thank you very much.
That was good.
Brilliant, right? One more super chat here. Brock says, Abby, what's your beef with United? Generally, all United fans want to know.
I genuinely
Always
don't know.
spiteful. We're not rivals. So where is it all coming from?
You're right.
Is
you're
it
in
Flex?
I honestly have no beef with United. It's just my opinion on what's going on. I also praised you last year. Just got to roll with it. But you've got bigger fish to fry in your mid-table battle with Chelsea. Hold that.
Don't forget to use the promo code OVER. If there's over 10 goals in the first half of the games this week, you can get yourself a free £5 bet with Fair Play. Thanks to the guys at Fair Play. You've got to be 18 plus, scan the QR code and click the link in the description. Want to wish a Merry Christmas going out to our panel here today. Nicky, great song. To Laurie and also to Abby. You guys, thank you very much for that present as well, Abby. Thank you. Great. Have yourself a great Christmas. Also to our regular panelists who ate here, big up to AGT, saw him last night. Merry Christmas going out to you. Also to Matisse. Big game for you, bro.
Big game.
Big game, bro.
Big
Don't lose
game,
it.
brother.
Merry Christmas going out to Matisse, and Merry Christmas also going out to Flex. I want you this Christmas to think about some of the people that are less fortunate than ourselves, like Flex, that are having a really tough time. You know what I mean? It's not everybody this Christmas is going to be able to sit around the fireplace with 3 points. There are going to be some people like Flex who are having a real tough time of it. You know, no points.
No hope.
No hope.
And also,
Just
did you see
really
their
sad.
food rating, their hygiene rating was 1?
And their hygiene rating was 1. They
Can't
can't
even
even
cook
eat
their
no
Christmas
turkey.
dinner.
Can't even eat no turkey.
So,
More hygiene rating and points though this Christmas.
so pleased. Think of Manchester United fans this Christmas. Think of Flex. Have yourself a Merry Christmas.
Where are these guys? Got caught in about 2 minutes. Where you off to, mate?
Thought, mate, just really running late for this case.
Where the hell have you lot been? Do you know how late we are?
I think the bender, mate.
Mate, we've got 2 minutes until call starts. Listen, we got cases building up, we've got work to do. Let's go, let's go.